Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Oh, baby. I'm back in Texas, which still is not where this rocket's taking off from that we're going to be seeing launch tonight. But at least I'm in Texas, and I'm not streaming from a hotel in California to see what I think is honestly one of the most exciting rockets that's going to be debuting this year for sure. And probably one of the most exciting rockets debuting this century so far, because it is probably the by far the best competitor right now to anything that SpaceX is doing. And this is, of course, Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. This thing is a absolute beast. We don't have like a pre-launch preview for it, so I thought I'd just kind of give you the rundown on it for those of you that were stuck in purgatory the other night with us. We probably saw a decent amount of things, but I want to just do a quick little overview again in the meantime, because I had some things wrong. I forgot, and this is... I'll take the L on this one. I said that, it's about like Falcon Heavy in specs, but the reality is it's actually a lot more capable than Falcon Heavy when you have to reuse hardware. So Falcon Heavy can do up to 63 tons, but that requires expending 3 cores to do that. This can do 45 tons with recovering the core or the booster. So that is substantial. That's substantial. Falcon Heavy could maybe do that. It could probably do that if it landed both boosters downrange and expended the center core. And it's probably only, like, I say only, it's probably somewhere around 30 tons if it was to do a tri-booster recovery. Somewhere around there. I don't have those exact numbers off the top of my head. But the fact of the matter is, New Glenn's a beast, guys. New Glenn is a beast. And I'm really excited about it because I think it's good to have lots of new rockets flying, and I think it's good to have reusable rockets flying, and it's good to have a rocket that has a lot more potential yet, with even potentially reusable upper stages, so making it a fully reusable rocket. This thing is, I'm excited, and I hope that tonight's launch countdown goes even better than it did the night before, or 2 nights ago, whenever that was. Time doesn't exist for me anymore. I'm fresh off of I had a red eye last night to get back from California to here for what could have been today's launch attempt. Found out on the plane this morning that it pushed to tomorrow, Thursday. Starship's Flight 7 pushed to tomorrow, which is good because I needed time to kind of get caught back up. And but let's kind of show you, I will show you a few things here to remind you. So New Glenn is 7 meters wide. And when you compare that to, say, something like Falcon Heavy or Falcon 9, which is 3.8 meters wide? Is that what it is? 12 feet wide. It's substantially more, wider in diameter. It's 98 meters tall versus, again, Falcon 9 is 70. So it's a lot closer in scale to Falcon 9, to Starship than it is to Falcon 9. And I like that. I like big rockets. I want to see more of these. And it's kind of like almost like an in-between Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy and Starship. Like it's sort of fits in between those performance numbers. It fits in between like partially reusable for now, doing drone ship landings, kind of like a Falcon 9. I like that. I like that it just feels comfortable and familiar, yet it's brand new, and it should be very exciting. So for scale reference, you can fit the entire New Shepard, they're going from the tiny New Shepard, which was suborbital, that they've flown, 28 times, to launching a rocket that's 98 meters tall. So over 300 feet tall. That's big. That's big. That's fun. I like that. So let's, I don't know what else we can do here. We're waiting still. We have their stream. They're saying they're going to be going live in about 5 or 6 minutes. So I will answer a few of your questions and then hopefully listen in, and hopefully, guys, fingers crossed. I think the main thing today is weather. So if weather holds, I would love it. I would love it for all of us and for Blue and for just humanity. If this thing happened to take off at midnight, my time, which would be 1 o'clock Eastern, that would be fantastic. As you can tell, I do have your clock. Hopefully I did it right. Let me see here. Let me make sure. It's saying T-minus 25 minutes, and that is 12:34 a.m. Eastern time. That is correct. So I did a great job, everyone. You're so welcome. Okay, so let's we have since I guess I last streamed, I might have missed a bunch of these, but we had a bunch of new members who I'm so thankful for, because those help make stuff like this possible. Not just tonight and the stream that we're putting on here, nice and easy, but all of the things in the background that I can't wait to give you guys a tour of. We'll be doing a video update on the new trailer that we have and all the new gear, the new trackers, all of the things that we do to capture and help record and share history as best as we possibly can. So thank you so much to I'm Novacon and Squawk Gaming and Frank and Steven and Rolf Harald and Von Smash and Kevin Kello and Mark Ranella and Ash Daddy. Ash Daddy, good to hear from you, Ash Daddy. Maya, that 50-pound rabbit. It always be a big rabbit. Dude, anytime when I, like, in my head, I saw Ash Daddy. I didn't even see the rabbit part of your comment yet, and I immediately thought of rabbits. So thank you so much for still being around, Ash Daddy. That's fantastic. Too much to explain. A lot of history there with rabbit questions and giant rabbits specifically from our friend Ash Daddy. So let's see. This is from Noah again. Noah's had some good questions the other night. This is from Noah saying, hey, everyday astronaut, tomorrow I'm taking some rocket science and this liftoff, I hope, happens. I can learn from this. Absolutely. And you know what? The reality is, frankly, obviously we expect Blue Origin to learn a lot from their inaugural launch. But I mean, yeah, we can learn a lot about how they operate. And even when we listen to them talk about some of the procedures going on. But the fun thing is, this is a new rocket. This is still an experimental thing. It's not anything set in stone, but I do like, Blue Origin's, I almost said Glue Origin. Blue Origin's approach to how they've kind of developed feels a little bit slower, but the rocket that's on the pad feels a lot more like, I do expect this thing to fly well. I expect it to get into orbit. I expect it to, here, I'll show you its trajectory, by the way. They're targeting a 19,300 kilometer peak of their orbit. So they're going from their highest thing ever being like 110 kilometers to 19,300 peak altitude. And that's orbital. So its perigee there is 2,400 kilometers. So that's over 12,000 miles in altitude. So, or about 12,000 miles in altitude. That's massive. So, yeah, they're going to learn a lot today, guys. They're going to learn a lot. I expect to see it getting into orbit. That'd be fantastic. And I have a decent amount of hope that if they stick the landing, you would have to give them mad props for that. I'm about 50-50 still on if they can actually stick the landing on the first try for a booster this size, downrange, some 600 kilometers downrange, 400 or so miles. If they stick this landing, it would be unbelievable. Yeah, we will see. Let's see. I'll answer one that I saw come through right away from Brian Rogers asking, and thank you for your donation. Have you had an opportunity to interview Peter Beck? Oh, yeah. Way back in 2018, I interviewed Peter Beck of Rocket Lab in New Zealand. That was one of my first kind of big interviews, actually, was Peter Beck. And so that was a lot of fun. And since then, obviously, as you know, I've had the fortune to be able to interview quite a few, I think, pretty exciting people from tons of different places all around the world, which that's my favorite part. It's just really, really fun for me to be able to have that opportunity. So, yeah, what was I going to say? The other part of that question. So after that, I interviewed them on the launch pad at Wallops when they did it. I've done like 2 or 3 other call-ins with Peter Beck. I definitely need to do a new interview with Peter Beck. Maybe when Neutron's getting close to online, we can work something out. That'd be a lot of fun because he's fantastic. Rocket Lab's a lot of fun. And yeah, I always like talking to Peter Beck for sure. All right, let's... This is... Bobby Roy, do I have something for you, my friend. We never really considered carbon emissions a challenge in rocket flight as the frequency was so low. However, with more common and larger launches, should we be worried? You are talking to the right guy. How much do rockets pollute? Let's just do a little Google search. The reason you're talking to the right guy is I spent about 4 months studying this exact topic. And look at this. Lo and behold, there's a little website, everydayastronaut.com, and a YouTube video that's 50 minutes long talking about every single thing that comes out of rockets, all of the different fuels, all of the different everything. Here's the breakdowns on rocket emission totals. Here's the breakdowns on emissions to payload mass ratios. Here's the breakdown on just about everything you could possibly want. But what's really interesting, this is where it gets interesting. You said no one's really ever considered how, when these things are flying frequently. Well, here's the reality is, yes, rockets generally do have, if we're talking specifically like CO2, they do produce a lot of CO2 generally, but it's, like even a Falcon 9 doesn't produce that much more than a fully loaded 747s. And how many there's 10,000 jets in the sky right now, and Falcon 9 launching every 3 days. So still very small beans. But I went ahead and did exactly what you asked, which was right now, as of this was 2018 though, so this has changed a lot since 2018. I will say it's probably 5 times this amount. There was, well, not 5, actually, it's a little over 2.5. But as of 2018, there was 114 orbital rocket launches. And there was 3 million or 37 million? 37 million commercial flights. So yeah, there is, you can't even see the dot. This is supposed to be a graphic of how much, you can't even see the dot of how many orbital launches there are. So in other words, the airline produces 40,000, the airline industry produces 40,300 times more CO2 than the spaceflight industry in 2018. Now, again, these numbers have shifted, these numbers have changed, but with 40,000, even if we were launching 100 times more than that, it's still small fish to fry. And I'm not saying that that's okay. It's just in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, the transportation industry isn't necessarily the biggest offender in greenhouse gases. And then on top of that, the airline industry isn't even the biggest offender of the transportation industry. And then on top of that, spaceflight is still just a teeny little blip compared to everything else. So again, not excusing it, but those are just the raw numbers. We would need roughly 4,594,200 rocket launches a year, or 12,586 rocket launches per day to equal that of the airline industry. And for Starship, that's 937 Starship / Super Heavy launches, so full stack. So you need almost 1,000 of those to output as much CO2 as the airline industry. So there you go. Hope that helps answer your question. There is a hold right now, and I do have my clock up tonight, so I'm going to see if I can. I don't quite remember how to put it into hold. There's a way for me to put my clock on hold. Is it this? I don't remember. Not that button. That's the launch button. Oh man, I don't remember how to. There's some cool way to just be like hold, and it just puts it in hold until we give it a new command. But I haven't done that in a while, and I haven't had to do it in a while because I feel like half the launches. Here, I'll just hide the clock, and then no big deal. When we get a new time, we will know. And notice that they did it. The Blue Origin definitely did it right this time, and I prefer this. This is fantastic. Great work, Blue Origin. They basically just said like, hey, we're not going to start live streaming until we're at within T-minus 20 minutes. And I think that's the right way to go about this. So they're currently in a hold, and that hold is at T-minus 20 minutes and 50 seconds. So I think that's the right way. So you don't have your host just floundering, and you don't have to provide a bunch of commentary like I'm finding myself doing right now. Okay, let's answer a few more questions here. This is from Pastor Rich asking question, Tim. What was your first launch ever, and which one was your most memorable? So my first launch is kind of confusing. I almost have to give it to 3. Does that make sense? I have to kind of give 3 launches as the answer to my first launch. The first launch I ever went down and shot as a professional photographer and saw it with my own eye. Well, technically, I actually did see the launch of Hubble Space Telescope on the space shuttle when I was like 5 years old or 6 years old. And I didn't, at the time, realize that's what it was. We have pictures of our family visiting Kennedy Space Center, totally on a whim, going out, seeing a space shuttle on the pad. And then I looked up the cross-reference the dates, and I'm like, that's Hubble. And then my dad and I watched that launch, stood out in the parking lot of the hotel and watched it, just saw the little, the streak in the sky. And like, happened to be my first rocket launch, but I barely remember that. I don't count that. My first launch as an adult was CRS-3, the first Falcon 9 launch that had landing legs. So it was early on in their recovery program. This is in 2014, early 2014. I want to say March is when I went out there, and then it didn't fly until April. And I was shooting it. I was going to be covering it as media. And wow, I've been at this a long time. That was 12 years ago. Holy crap. And I went out to shoot the rocket. It scrubbed too many times. I flew home, but I left my camera down at the launch pad and had a colleague pick it up and return it to me. So my camera got to see that launch. I didn't actually see that launch in person, but I saw that rocket. Then I went to OCO2 at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California that summer in 2014. That was too foggy to see, but I heard it. So like I'm stepping into like, it's like, one was I was a little baby. 2, I was gone, but my camera saw it. The third launch I saw was too foggy, so I didn't actually see it, but I heard it. The fourth launch, the first one I really saw, felt, shot, and everything about it was EFT-1, the first Orion launch. The first test flight of Orion on the Delta IV Heavy at the end of 2014. I think it was December 6th, 2014 was the first one that I was like, yes, right there. We're only 3.5 miles away. And it was spectacular. That's up there. So as far as most memorable, that was extremely memorable. I want to say that SN8 was way up there as far as memories. Just so fun to see the first suborbital test flights of Starship. Falcon Heavy was so fun to see in person. The first one, the demonstration mission. I would say other than, IFT-1, the first flight 1 of Starship was amazing. That's a core memory. I saw a Soyuz launch at the end of 2022 in Kazakhstan at Baikonur Cosmodrome. That was incredible. I mean, still have to tell a story about that. I need to produce like a miniature just walk back like documentary about that whole experience because it was just crazy. Those are the most memorable ones that I can think off the top of my head. Yeah. Well, let's answer another question. Sorry if I just talked forever, but I guess what else do we have to do right now? Let's see. This is from Pat A. Thank you so much for the Shiba dog emoji thing that doesn't show up, but just spells it out on our screen. Thank you. And Thomas for becoming a member. Thank you so much. From Peter. Good evening, Tim. Banking on tonight for I already drank caffeine. Also, can't wait for the Astro Awards. Yes, Peter, thank you so much for for that, but also for mentioning the Astro Awards. Why don't we, while we're waiting, we'll talk Astro Awards for 1 second because we still have. I actually haven't checked tickets today, but we're getting darn close to selling out. I think we might only have like 100 or 200 tickets left out of like 1,200. So we're getting close. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is our schedule. These are our panelists. We've got some amazing people coming. So this year, Astro Awards, for those of you who don't know, we hand out physical awards to the humans behind the amazing missions in spaceflight from the year before. So we look at the coolest missions and we give out actual awards and get them on stage and cheer for them like the inspirational rock stars that they are. And we say, thank you for doing what you do. Congratulations. And we just bring people together to celebrate spaceflight and space exploration. And the last year was our first in-year event in Austin at the Paramount Theater, the historic, beautiful Paramount Theater. This year, though, we're doing it a 2-day event, a full thing. We have panels galore. We've got Zyla Foxland and Joel, who's better known as Integza, are going to be doing a video a panel on building rockets at home. We have Sarah Gillis, Jared Isaacman. I don't remember who that guy is. Oh, that's right. Future NASA administrator Jared Isaacman, the first commercial spacewalker in the entire world. The rest of the crew of Polaris Dawn will be there, as well as Charlie Duke. You ever heard of him? Apollo 16 astronaut. He walked on the freaking moon is going to be there. Lori Garver, Eric Berger, Casey Dwyer, Scott Manley, Lauren Grush, Jack Beyer, Hillary Coe, John Krause, Cyan Proctor, Amber from Planetary Society, Paul Wooster, and Shauna. We have just it's incredible. Here's our our panels and stuff. It is 2 days packed full of a ton of fun. And yeah, I hope that those of you that are going say hi because it's going to be a lot of fun. Scott Manley's DJing a set that night. It's going to be super fun. All right, let's from Zero Maddox. Thank you so much for your generous donation, as well as a message. Literally forgot to put a message about how many Kerbals do you think was sacrificed in the creation of this rocket of New Glenn? I'd bet very few Kerbals, to be honest. I feel like in between Kerbal and not Kerbal, the Kerbal and not Kerbal way, I'd say SpaceX is very much the Kerbal way, and they have slaughtered a lot of Kerbals in their development, which is very exciting. I feel like if Blue Origin was playing Kerbal Space Program and SpaceX was, Blue Origin would be very diligent and very few Kerbals would be harmed in the making of their program, whereas SpaceX would like almost take pride in like, ha ha ha, well, we learned something, and we're on our 48th Kerbal. But yeah, obviously I'm not equating Kerbals to anything remotely close to human lives. Let's keep that fair. They both obviously do care a lot about human safety, and that shows in both of the programs that they fly with humans. And that's something I don't even like to joke about. This is from Audrey becoming a member. Thank you so much. From Fula Media Life, hope to finally have good SpaceX competitor that will be good for us too. It will be good for everyone. If there's someone that can help. Right now, SpaceX has no reason to lower their pricing. They have no pressure to lower their price at all, right? They could be building and flying. They could take Starship and they could charge whatever they want for it if someone needs the full service. Or they could even be, Falcon 9 right now, they could charge, 60 million, 70 million, whatever it is for that service, even if it costs them $5-10 million to launch. I don't think they're quite that low yet, but they might be, below 20 million by now, since they're recovering and flying a booster 25 times. That's just pure profit. They have there's no incentive for them to lower their costs right now. So I'm excited for that opportunity to have someone else on the market saying, hey, we could actually, hey, you see that science payload that needs to go to Mars? Yeah, we'd take 20% off and we can do it cheaper. That would finally start to make a competitive nature. And I think things would just ramp up from there like crazy, which would be super fun. From Dragon Leader, engineering student here, currently studying in my dorm to do space stuff. I like space stuff. It has been awesome with all the things going on. Time to be an engineer. I absolutely agree wholeheartedly. This is like, if you were becoming an aerospace engineer and walking into this marketplace right now, you have so many fun options at your fingertips to work on incredibly exciting programs. It's so different than it was 10 years ago. There's so many companies doing amazing things, between obviously Blue Origin and SpaceX and Rocket Lab and Stoke Space and, tons of them. You have just in Austin up here, obviously we have Firefly. There's a lot of, and that's just in the US. Like I said, I've gone to RFA, Rocket Factory Augsburg. I've gone to ESAR. I've seen Ursa Major. There's so many people doing really exciting and cool things in the aerospace industry, and great time to be doing that. So good luck and keep us in the loop. From Jerry Boxham, thank you very much. Very much appreciate your donations. From Matt Westlake, what will you be live streaming during the Astro Awards? So we are not planning, I'm saying planning, to live stream anything at the Astro Awards for two reasons. Number one, it's very difficult with running a live operation in the theater. Last year, we were able to park our van in the back, in the parking lot, or not the parking lot, but the alleyway there. That is not an option this year. So we would have to we don't know. First off, we don't know how we would. And second of all, just it really actually took a lot out of the programming, and everything had a lot of sacrifices because of the live stream. And when we have people coming from around the world to attend this in person, we really want to focus on the in-person event. Make sure that's fantastic. We want to make sure everyone there has the best time possible. But importantly, we're going to be recording the Astro Awards, and we'll be still putting it out as soon as we can, a day or two later. So it's not like we're trying to gatekeep or anything. It's just simply a matter of logistics and getting the best product out there for everybody. So it's the best product out there for the people that are there in person. And it's also the best product, and it's more refined when you do watch it at home. It'll be a much better produced version. So that's our current thoughts. We're still, even though we're only a week out right now, January 25th and 26th, that's still potentially up in the air, but we don't have a good solution for doing a live stream this year. And I kind of made the call a while ago, like, hey, we have a lot more on our plate this year. Let's just focus on that and let's get good recording of it, and we'll post it later. Do it right, when it's done, as you know. This is from Elliot C. Thank you very much. This is from Jay Ray saying, hey, Tim, hope all's well with you. I imagine you've been pretty busy with all the streams and delays as of late. A small question, if I may. What is Falcon Heavy's payload to LEO with a center core only? With a center core only. Like if they used a Falcon Heavy center core, that'd be a Falcon 9. Or I don't know if the question, if Jay Ray, if you're still around, I'll try to catch it in the chat. If you know, like if it's center core only, like center core expended only, or only expended. Well, because they do that a lot, but they haven't really had to do just a full on, fully laden Falcon Heavy expended core mission. I would with center core only. Yeah, I would assume expended. I think it's somewhere, and this is still with the boosters doing an RTLS, a return to launch site landing. I think it's somewhere in like the 27, 28 tons to LEO. Don't know for sure. Those numbers have changed quite a bit, and from the last I knew. And I believe if you were to recover them downrange, you can get around 30. And I think if you recover, that's with potential. Oh God, there's so many configurations for Falcon Heavy that I'm getting confused because don't forget, you can do expended center core with boosters landing back on land. You can do expended center core potentially with boosters landing downrange. You can do recovery of all 3 boosters downrange. You could potentially do the original OG return the center core lands downrange. The boosters land on land. There's just a ton of options as far as Falcon Heavy goes. I think the range, realistically, is something like 35 tons on the if you're expending some hardware, down to fully recovering everything is like 25 or something like that. So give or take. Those numbers aren't published. The only thing we have to work backwards on is the 63 metric tons to LEO if you fully expend everything. That's the only thing that's truly published. And I think if you're to fully recover everything, I think it's almost exactly half that, so 30-ish. And that's in the most high-performing, fully recovering 3 cores mode. Ish. Lots of ishes there because I frankly don't know. And I hope that's okay. Todd Johnson, it has been a great 55 months, Tim. Well, thank you, Todd, for your ongoing support. Sincerely. I was kind of going off about this the other night when we were streaming, and the last few months have been very hard for me because I've been working a lot, and I've been working really hard, but they're on long-term projects that you guys don't always get to see. The Apollo video, for example, is like one of the most taxing and most difficult videos I've ever made. It's right up there with the Soviet rocket engines, where it's just like a lot of work. And unfortunately, you just don't get to see it until it's done. And it's over 2 hours long. And meanwhile, I decided I didn't want to do that thing where you just don't see my videos and I don't put out anything. So I've made a few shorter videos in the long run. So if you feel like, I do hear this comment all the time, like, Tim, where have you been? Check back through my feed. I've got lots of stuff still that have been published and they just aren't showing up. People aren't seeing them. People aren't clicking them. I don't know if that's an algorithm thing or what, but I've seen that comment so many times, like, whoa, I'm glad he showed back up in my algorithm. I didn't know if you're still doing stuff. It's like, I've been uploading pretty much every month, once a month-ish, and streaming once or twice a month since 2018. Like, I haven't ever changed anything. It's so weird that people are always like, where'd you go? So thank you so much for 55 months of support. You are the reason that I'm able to keep going, and I find a way to not get burnt out. So thank you. Andrew Lane, greatly appreciated. Chill Space, did you see the Ship 29 leak on X? Ship 29 leak on X. I'm not entirely sure what that even means. Like S29? I did not. If If anybody has any more insight on what exactly that is in reference to. Oh, inside of the nose. Oh, no, I didn't see that. I did not see that. People asking for a T-minus is currently on a 2 minute or 20 minute and 50 second hold. So once I get a new time, I will update the clock, and you guys will have a new T0 time. But so far, I'm guessing it's very much weather related. I should be checking in with Blue Origin on X and making sure they aren't posting anything. Whoa. Okay. We have some good news here. Let me just pull up X here on this screen, and you guys can take a look here. This is some actually excellent news. So if we load this up, we have two things that I like to see. I see from Eric Berger, who I feel like is kind of he's the goldenrod of truth. And when he says something, I feel like it's pretty darn true. I think New Glenn is happening tonight, y'all. I like hearing that from Eric Berger. Eric, I hope you're right. And then Derek Newsom is also retweeting this Blue Origin, saying we are entering a hold with the countdown clock at T-minus 20 minutes for the BE4 Chillin. New T0 forthcoming. That was 14 minutes ago. So I really hope that we're seeing with Scott Manley's update, or not Scott Manley, with Eric Berger's update. Whoa, 35 new posts. I don't know. Okay, a lot of Stoke Space stuff, but let's sweet. I like that. I hope that I'll let you know as soon as the clock is moving. I will let you guys know, and we'll update our T0 time, which is currently hidden. But I really hope this is it. Hey, look who is tuned in. Lex Friedman, everyone. Lex, love you. Thank you so much for watching with us, and fingers crossed for this incredible mission. Lex has also had the pleasure of interviewing Jeff Bezos on his podcast, talking a lot about spaceflight, talking a lot about life. Lex's pod. If you're not familiar with Lex Friedman's podcast, you need to be. Another gold standard of how to be a human to another human, talking to people from all walks of life. I think he has some of the best interviews, and amazing. I love Lex, and I'm a big fan of Lex's show. I had the pleasure of being on Lex's show, and yeah, that is awesome. I'm like bubbling on the inside right now. So I'm probably blushing like a school kid, just like, that's very exciting to me. So thank you, Lex. Everyone say hi, Lex, and keep up the great work. We're all hinging on you to continue to save the world. So thank you. Caden Russell, how's the weather looking? So the weather was a concern earlier, but if they're pushing forward, I haven't seen any reports of it being terrible. So hopefully we see this thing fly. That would be amazing. Lexi Martin, it's funny that Stoke Space has come up like 4 times. I'll be doing an update with Stoke Space here this year. I think it's going to be in March. Oh, well, look at that. Lex Friedman. P.S. I got tickets. Dude, you didn't have to buy tickets. I've got some set aside for you, my friend. If you come, I've got a ticket for you. So you didn't have to buy them. Thank you so much, though. That's awesome. Well, now I'm excited to hang out with Lex again. Wow. That's awesome. So Stoke Space, yes, I will be doing an update with Stoke this year. And I can't wait, because they have done some incredible things in a very short amount of time. And I feel like they're one of these like underdogs that's just ready to absolutely pop off. And when they do launch and they start getting into their testing program, if they fly an aerospike, they could be the first aerospike to make it above the Kármán line, I think. Even though it's not, it doesn't like, Andy, the CEO, does not like to call it an aerospike, but darn it, I do, and I love it. That'll be really exciting. So I will do an update with them for sure. Jeff Beasley, Tim, can you comment on why you think it seems that Blue Origin's ethos seems more like pre-calculating rather than test, evaluate, - repeat? Test, evaluate, repeat. There we go. So to me, I think they've had a little change in command. It feels like for a little while they're kind of doing things maybe a bit too traditionally. And then in the past couple of years, it feels like they really kind of got more into the ethos of like, there's got to be a good enough at some point. We might learn more if we just fly this thing, even though this thing feels really buttoned up. It's a really weird balance between, like, I do think they're pushing in the back end, and I do think they're working really hard on getting this thing out the door as quickly as possible. But I do think they were more calculated and more like, let's try to solve it and make sure it's like ready to go when we ship. I'm not sure where that their main ethos. The truth is, their whole slogan is, what is it? Gradium ferociter, which means like step by step ferociously. Is that what it is? Let's look it up. Gradium ferocitor. I misspelled this so bad. Gradium ferocitor. There we go. Means. Nope, that was totally wrong. Does anyone know? Oh, they did push the clock back to. We are counting down though. We have a moving clock. Give me a second here. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on getting this clock back online. So give me 1 second here. I want to line this up with the new T0, which appears to be. Let's see, 29 minutes. Okay, hang on. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 29 minutes from 6 past the hour. So that's 12:35. Let's try that. So that's going to change to 35. Let me give this a save. Let me see if those clocks line up. And boom, they are bingo bongo right on the dot. Okay, we have a new T0. I know you guys can't necessarily see that, and that's okay because it will change position from behind my screen. But I got you covered with a T0 clock of T-minus 28 minutes, 40 seconds right now. Yes, I am excited. Okay, now hopefully their live stream starts at T-minus 20. That would be a very good sign. So we have 10 more minutes of me noodling around before we listen in. Yeah, I am. Yes. Who is ready for this? Who is ready to hopefully see? Wait, there's a big old, hang on. I realize that I've got a big old thing in the screen too. We can remove this. We are not in a hold, so let me fix that. Hopefully that fixes. No, it did not. There we go. Hang on. Now I push it. Okay, we are not in a hold anymore. They are counting down. Who is ready for this? I think everyone in here is, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here if you weren't ready. So that was a dumb question. Jamal. This is from Jamal. If you take Starship and New Glenn and have them switch engines, BE4 and Raptor, what would the performance difference be? So here's the real secret sauce of Raptor and why Raptor is... If you just did a straight up 1-for-1, you would not be able to fit 33 BE4s underneath of Starship. So that's the real secret sauce of why the Raptor is wild, is because it's a relatively small engine and it's almost exactly as powerful. It's getting is ramping up to as powerful as the BE4, which is a monster. The BE4 is an incredibly impressive engine. It's very powerful. It's almost exactly on spec right now with the RS-25, if I recall, as far as thrust output. No, it's more. It's more. RS-25 was, I think, 185 meganewtons, and they're more like 240 with the BE4. Let me see again. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, that was 57 minutes ago. Hold. Okay. It doesn't matter. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts here with the BE4. You can even tell when you look at this graphic of how big the BE4 is, though. Almost 2 meters wide. And Raptor is, 1.3 meters wide with nearly the same amount of thrust. That's kind of the real secret sauce because they can fit more. So if you have like a fixed area of a fixed circle area, you can have more thrust in the same profile there. So if you put Raptors on a New Glenn, it'd be similar. Right now, I think it'd be slightly underpowered, although it is a little bit more efficient, a little. In the near future, like Raptor version 3, you could literally probably plumb those up under New Glenn. It would look funny because it'd have much smaller nozzles than like in size than what the BE4 has, but they'd be able to do the job. So that's what would happen if you swap them out. Their thrust numbers are similar. Raptor is a little bit more efficient and much smaller footprint and higher thrust weight ratio too, most likely because it is very, very small. So let's see. This is from Thomas C. Go for booster catch tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I really hope so. We're ready here. I can't wait. I hope so bad that the weather clears up and that I get to see a launch attempt or a launch and a landing and a catch. That'd be amazing. That'd be a nice little checklist for me because I still have to get back to practice and work on things for the Astro Awards as soon as humanly possible, because that is already in a week from this weekend. So I really hope they fly tomorrow. That would be fantastic. Federico says, question for Tim, what's your favorite space flight in history? Favorite flight period? Oh, God. It's hard. How can you beat the Apollo 11 mission? I mean, I don't think there's any mission that's more incredible than that mission. I would say that has to be my favorite, period. So I'll say that. And then the stream's getting a little glonky, but it is still going. You guys can't hear the audio, I think. I've got it pretty well quieted for you, but it's riding the struggle bus right now. Anyway, I would say Apollo 11. Can't beat it. And then after that, I think Falcon Heavy Demo Mission was very, very exciting too. This is from Fingers Kittens. Feed Me Kitten, not Finger. Oh, jeez. Feed Me Kitten says, fingers crossed that we get to see a launch tonight. It's rad that we're getting so many new launch vehicles. Yes, it is. Feed Me Kittens. I absolutely agree. I also have my fingers crossed that we will see a launch tonight. Here we go. Oh, I got excited. But maybe it's just this webcast trying to catch up. I'm not recovering from that one. This is from Dank Gank, wearing my EVA hoodie at the HSV engine plant. Thank you so much for your coverage and Godspeed NG1. That is awesome. Yes. Thank you for your support. And yeah, let's go NG1. This is very exciting. Anders Westman, question. How do they compensate for the fuel boil off if the launch is delayed quite long? Can they top it off after the official fueling is done, or must they rely on some extra margin? No, that's exactly right. They actually are continually topping it off. It's continually like repressurizing and putting new propellant in as the old stuff boils off. So that's how that works. And that's kind of to fight that. That's why SpaceX does their load and go procedure, which is where they load up the rocket as quickly as possible. And as soon as it's ready to go, within like 1 or 2 minutes of it fully fueled and pressurized, they launch. The more traditional way is you load it up, you get it into a stable state, and then you kind of go, all right. And you just keep topping it off. In fact, the space shuttle, they put it into a stable state where they had it fully fueled, and then they went and put humans on top of it while the rocket was fully fueled. If you think about that, to me now, my armchair expertise is going to come out here, but that just seems inherently dangerous. The rocket is right there with liquid propellant, liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen, and you're standing there, and there's just a little tiny wall, a paper-thin wall, not quite paper-thin, but a very thin wall of metal keeping you between you and a highly explosive material, right? So I think the better idea is to put the humans on the rocket while it's empty, fuel it up, and while you're fueling it, you have the launch abort system armed. So if something goes wrong during the launch abort during the fuel up process, you could abort in an emergency. I like that. I think that's smart. So yes, the conventional way has been you load it up, you get it stable, you sit there until you're ready to go, and you eventually have a commodities issue. Like eventually, you run out of even fuel and propellant on the ground to kind of refuel. But for the most part, the launch window is only so long, and yeah. Chad, how you doing? Can't wait for the Astro Awards. What do you think the over/under is for a Starship launch the week after the awards? I'd say not the week after. I would say. If they launch now, my bet would be mid-February. I bet they're about a month out. That's just what I'm feeling. Lord Skippy just tuned in. Unsure if this is public information, but no earlier than 1:22 Eastern due to weather. Well, I probably shouldn't have read that if it wasn't potentially public information, but that is now late anyway. But thank you so much, Lord Skippy. I appreciate the support. Big Yucky. If a Blue Origin rocket launches, but the pilot fumbles the Riz mid liftoff and the thing blows up, the vibe check, is it an L or just mid? Jeez, that is some. I would say it's a huge L if they have a pilot in that thing. That would be just That would not be it. 77 Patriot 77. Any super secret surprises you may be saving for the Astro Awards? Maybe. Hey, there's Lex again. I would love to stop by. Well, I love that. I am very excited. Thank you very much again, Lex. This is from LTB. Will any of your former crew from Dear Moon be at the Astro Awards? Hey, we got video coming in. This is a good sign. This is a very good sign. This year, I don't know. Last year we had Brendan was there. I'll follow up. I don't know, but I want to get everyone together again. I already miss them, and yeah, it would be really good to see them. So let's. Dima Crab says, what happens first? Blue develops reusable upper stage, or SpaceX increases the diameter of Starship? Ooh. Well, they're in the middle. They're trying to do a reusable upper stage already. Like, they're actively working on that. I think SpaceX will fly super heavy in this diameter for a decent amount of time. Like, I think 5 years. And I could see Blue potentially having a reusable upper stage within 5 years. But that's a good one, actually. I think I would like Blue Origin to have a reusable upper stage first. That's my yeah. Nate Saunders, the Astro Awards will be recorded, and we'll put up the awards ceremony and maybe a few other things on the channel too. When we get it done. Alex, thank you so much. Jebediah Gentry, thanks for the hard work. You are my go-to for any rocket launch or stream any kind of information in the aerospace industry. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much. Ooh, let's listen in.
Welcome back, everyone. It's another great night for a launch attempt for our new rocket, New Glenn. Denise, thank you once again for joining me.
Thank you. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Here for it no matter what.
I hear you on that. Glad you're here for it. We introduced you the other night. You're a principal engineer on the New Glenn program. It's always good to have someone with a deep technical background here for the webcast. Now, picking up from where we left off a few nights ago, we had our first attempt at this NG-1 launch, and the team had to troubleshoot a couple technical issues along the way, which exceeded our available launch window, and we had to call a scrub.
Yeah, the team realized that the scrub was due to ice forming in a purge line on the auxiliary power unit that powers some of our hydraulic systems. Now, of course, auxiliary power units, or APUs, these will provide power to a variety of systems. It includes some of our hydraulics and other actuating surfaces.
Now, I'll say again, we've prepared rigorously for this first flight. Anything beyond our first objective, which is reaching orbit safely, is going to be a bonus. We know landing the booster on the first time is ambitious, but you know what? We are going for it.
And no matter what happens, we're going to learn so much. We'll refine, and we're going to apply that knowledge to our next launch.
And yes, that booster landing, we are really going to go for it. It's a key part of our first flight, and we really can't wait to see what happens with the booster. And yes, we recognize here at Blue Origin, it is incredibly hard to pull off, especially for the first time you try it, but you might even say we're just a little crazy to try it on the first flight, but the data we get for flying the complete mission profile is incredibly valuable.
You know, in fact, the attempt that we went through just the other night really netted us data about our vehicle, about our operations. So even though we didn't lift off, just going through the countdown in launch control was so valuable for our team. It is our goal to net immense amounts of collective knowledge about our vehicle as we build up our program, and that knowledge base is already growing.
I want to remind you that we have an early technology demonstration for Blue Ring on this flight. Now, this isn't the full Blue Ring vehicle. It is a Pathfinder featuring core subsystems that we want to validate. It's a non-separating payload that is going to stay attached to the second stage through its entire 6-hour mission duration. So it is another exciting day, and we're just so glad that you are back here joining us for this launch attempt. Once again, it's not just Denise and me. We got a couple other faces helping us bring you all of the action today. Why don't we check in with Maggie McNeese from our government team in our DC office. She's reporting from upstairs in Mission Control. Maggie, you there?
I am here so long as you're here and my friends here in Mission Control are here. I'm going to stay.
Okay, good. All right, welcome back to our next launch attempt, Maggie. Do you want to remind our viewers where you're standing up there? You are just one floor above us. What's around you? What's the action?
I've got Mission Control right here on my right. Just down the hallway a little bit is our Launch Control Center. These rooms have our controllers, our engineers, everybody who's working to make this launch a success today.
Love it. Thank you so much, Maggie. We're going to patch you in as we go. Why don't we check in now with Eddie Seifert back at nearby Cars Park. Our Florida employees once again are gathering for a second attempt. They are hardcore. Eddie, are you there?
Yeah, Ariane, welcome to the...
I think they've got even more people there this time. And I see the next comment here I have to get to. They're doing I feel like they've already upgraded their live stream. They've already iterated on it. I'm noticing a lot of little things that were not perfect last time. Like you can kind of see the teleprompter in one shot. I feel like they've tidied things up a lot already. So that's good. I like to see that. But I have to say this one, and where is this? Okay, this is a comment that I have to say from, this one's from, did I get it up there? No, hey, it's moving too quickly on me. Hang on. Where'd it go? Is it going on screen? Hang on. Every time I try to click on it, it's going away. And I really like this comment. There we go. From Cooper. As a graphic design student, I can't help but notice how well designed your projects are. What is your team's process like for the overlays, graphics, merch, web design, props, your team? Well, thank you so much. There's one word that is the secret sauce here. Allie. My girlfriend Allie is a unbelievably talented graphic designer, and anything that looks cool is her. If you ever see anything that you're kind of like, that ain't it, it's because I didn't run it by her. But all the merch, the branding guidelines, all the things that look good is her designs. So yeah, she has her own company called Gravity Coast. And she does Gravity spelled GRVTY, by the way, if you're looking for. She does freelance stuff, but we keep her pretty busy. She does a lot of other cool stuff too. She's done other stuff for aerospace companies. So yeah, I absolutely I love her and I love her design. So that's the reason why the designs are so good. Hey, this is a good chance to do the pointy end up, flamey end down check. This is a fantastic view of the rocket. I can confirm by this view that the pointy end is up and the flamey end is down. And I can confirm that because I have been on that launch pad standing literally at the bottom. You can get a sense of how big that guardrail would go up to someone's hip way down on that deck. This is a huge rocket. This thing's almost as big as the Saturn V that took humans to the moon. By the way, I think we're almost the furthest into the count that we've ever been. So as soon as I hear them talking on comms, I will absolutely increase the volume here, and we'll hear what they have to say. Because the fact that they're showing mission control, the fact that the clock is still ticking down, T-minus, we're under 12 minutes. So if we get under 10, I'm feeling good, and I really, really, really hope that we get to see New Glenn launch tonight. Now, you'll notice that I'll point out a few things that I enjoy about this rocket. One is that there are some parts that are kind of gold brownish. Those are the thermal protective coatings and the kind of a fabric and a unique system that they've developed that will help prevent those pieces and those parts from overheating and melting. And it's a really unique system. You can kind of get a better sense for it here. They've flown bits of this on their new Shepherd rocket, but this is the first time that they've really had it, on a rocket like this, on an orbital rocket. Now, the booster doesn't quite go orbital, but it still will experience extremely high heating on reentry. Let's hear what they're saying.
First launch ever, NG-1. So many of the people behind this mission are not only critical parts of the New Glenn operation, they're also super passionate people who are dedicated to the larger mission at Blue Origin. And you can tell because so many of them, including you and I, Denise, are ambassadors on behalf of Blue Origin's Club for the Future.
Yeah, you know, you're an ambassador, I'm an ambassador. There's actually thousands of us here at Team Blue. Club for the Future is Blue Origin's nonprofit to inspire and mobilize future generations to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. These kids are tomorrow's aerospace workers.
Yeah, Club for the Future is a perfect example of how we here at Blue Origin can do something about it.
Okay, I'm going to listen in and wait until they give us an update. I hope that this is a short hold. We will see. I've got my fingers crossed, my toes crossed. I hope you all do too. I hope we're not in purgatory, rigamaroni purgatory here. And hopefully this thing still gets going here shortly. I hope this is just a brief hold. I'll, like I said, I'm going to listen in here, and I'll let you know.
For a go, no go poll, let's stand by.
Okay, so this is a good reason to be in a hold because they're doing a go, no go poll. Hopefully in the very near future. That is actually a fantastic sign. So yeah, hopefully they're about to do a go no go poll. Hopefully that wasn't before they realized they're in a hold. But we will find out here shortly. A hold is fairly normal, guys, just so you know. Like, this is nothing to panic about too much. Again, this is a new rocket. Do please keep that in mind. This is the first time this rocket is trying to fly ever. And it is fairly, normal to go through some teething pains. So I'm giving them a good amount of grace. We've seen this with every new rocket that's ever tried flying before. You see it scrub a bunch. It was no different when SpaceX was learning to fly at the SN8 prototypes. SN9, oh man, 9 I felt like was scrubby as all get out. Like it scrubbed for like 2 months. And I came down for 2 weeks, ended up staying for 5 months because it just took so long for that one and the next one and the next one. So we're used to this with developmental programs. And then, SLS scrubbed twice and then took like a 2-month sabbatical, then tried again. And finally on the 4th attempt, it did lift off. That one was getting hard to stream because it was getting in the middle of the night and it just was not very enjoyable for those late night streams. When you're like, please, but then it was the bittersweet thing because like that was bitter and it was hard and like getting the team together to go out there in the middle of the night and set up and stream and all this stuff did make it. When that thing lifted off, it was like we all lost our minds because we were just almost had lost hope that like, is this really ever going to launch? So if this thing launches tonight, that would be very impressive. Vulcan, when it first was trying to launch, got out to the pad a few times and scrubbed. This is just normal. This is normal for a first rocket. We get spoiled right now by, how like when Falcon 9 launches, you just don't even expect it to scrub anymore. So keep that in mind, and I'll give them a lot of grace. I can't imagine all the things that they're learning as they're, working on this rocket right now. We've got... Wait, I feel like we already went through a few of these. Sorry, some of them got cleared out here. How do I feel about Starship Flight 7? I feel good about it. My biggest concern is that it is an amazing launch and they catch and we have terrible weather and I don't actually get to see it because that would just be the curse of all curses. And please don't screen capture that. And then if that happens, I see that everywhere because I will cry if, it's been a very hard month for me to go back and forth. I was just in California yesterday, had an entire production yesterday. Tried to stream this the night before that. We have to stream Starship tomorrow. It's just like a lot. And then Astro Wars.
NG1. We were very close to getting into that go, no go poll. Unfortunately, we have had to go into a hold. And as you've seen there, we are now at T-minus 34 minutes. Unfortunately, there is a boat that has apparently come into the cleared range. And we're going to have to clear that boat out. So that is going to take us some time here. As we have said before, our #1 objective this evening is to get to orbit safely. And that includes not just the rocket, not just our teams, but everybody in the area, including people on boats. So with that, we're going to continue to watch New Glenn here for a moment as we get ready for New Glenn 1.
All right, we got our new time up. It was a Wayward boat. Of all things, I feel like that's so yesteryear to have a Wayward boat getting the way of a rocket. I bet they had to just be like, no, you got to be kidding. This does happen. Boats and planes downrange. But here's probably the reason. I'll bet here's the reason why. You want to know why? There is a larger than we're used to exclusion zone for this rocket. It's this first launch ever. It's on a much further south launch pad compared to when Falcon launches, when Atlas, when Vulcan launches. So if, let's say the marine traffic out there that, checks in on this stuff, they probably just thought, oh, there's a rocket launch, but I know where I can go and where I can't go. I don't need to worry about it. But they might not have realized that this particular rocket on this particular pad, which has never flown, in the 21st century on this pad, they might not have realized where the exclusion zone really was, the full border of it. And it is large. It is further south than the other exclusion zones, and that's probably why someone got caught off guard. Yeah, hopefully that gets cleared out here, and we get to see this thing launch very, very, very soon. All right, Eli wants to know, what's my favorite Apollo mission besides 11? I mean, 13's incredibly heroic. How can you not like 13 and the story behind it and the fact that they brought astronauts back home safely? But Apollo 17, spending 3 days on the moon, driving around on the moon, chipping giant rocks and boulders. I mean, Apollo 17 just did almost as much time on the moon on Apollo 17 than all the other ones combined. Not quite, but it was a substantial amount of time. It was just an amazing mission. I would say that's probably my favorite Apollo mission besides 11. So the first and the last on the moon. And then just, the fact, the liftoff shot of Apollo 17, how can you not think that's like one of the coolest shots of all time? The ultimate PTZ shot. Absolutely amazing. Phobos wants to know, do you think we'll see a booster, reuse, or Starship catch this year? I honestly, this might be... Oh, wait, I'm off, by the way, by 1 exact minute. I'm 1 minute ahead on my clock, so let me fix that. I will add a there and save and push, and hopefully that's now... Oh, did I just add a second? Yes, I did. Dang it. Hang on. I added 1 second instead of 1 minute. These are big numbers. Save, push. Let's see if I'm... Oh, yep, nailed it. Okay, so 31 minutes. Okay, so well, do I think we'll see a booster, a SpaceX super heavy booster reuse, because obviously they've caught one, or a Starship. Here, I'm going to turn this down a little bit in case it's really loud. Or a Starship catch this year. Catch this year. I think booster reuse I could see happening relatively soon, like the next launch or 2 or 3. Like if Booster 13 comes back looking good, then I could see SpaceX just being like, well, screw it. It's here. Let's just fly it. And they'll learn something out of it, The other option would be, I think within the next 3 or 4 launches, we'll see a booster catch. And I think we should see a Starship catch within around that same time frame. How awesome would it be if the first, booster reuse. How awesome would it be if the first booster reuse also had the first Starship catch? That would be amazing. Or did I miss something? No, we're bang on for the time. Exactly down to the second. Okay. This is Area 51 and then backwards Area 51. Thank you for that cryptic and cool message. Dorian Kelly, thank you for the memberships. Let's see, we already did that one. This is from Josh H. So, yeah, I mean, it did just scrub, but that's not their fault. That was a Wayward boat. We will see. I really want to see this thing fly. I really want it to take off tonight. That would make me so happy. So please, everyone, cross all those things that you have in your life. Nicholas Smith, based on current progress, how long do you think it'll be until the average person could save up and take a trip into orbit? Still at least a decade away. I mean, I think it's going to be a while before any competition and stuff pushes that down to be anywhere near remotely affordable for the average person. I mean, let's even imagine right now if a person wanted to do an ultra luxurious. Oh, by the way, that fire right now they're showing us. I know that looks scary. Those are the 2 flare stacks. So that's methane. Since this vehicle has both liquid methane and liquid hydrogen, they have 2 flare stacks. And so what they do is when they have boil off of either of those propellants, when it goes from liquid to a gas, that expands a lot, and they need to vent it somewhere. They can't have it venting out of the rocket because it could potentially accumulate somewhere. And if it accumulated and came in contact and had a spark, you could have an explosion or a detonation. So instead, they captured any of it that vents, goes back into a pipe, and then it. Oh, here we go.
For New Glenn's first launch to space, we are T-minus 28 minutes and 10 seconds to go until launch. If you've been joining along, we got very close to a go, no go poll there, but we understand that there is a boat that is downrange where we don't want it to be. So we are waiting to clear that vessel from out of the way. Otherwise speaking, I'm hearing from Mission Control, the weather is looking good, the vehicle is looking good. We are just waiting for that vessel to clear the area. And then, you know what? It's go time. So stick with us, everybody, as we get ready for New Glenn's first launch to space.
Okay, I'm feeling hopeful. Those are good things. Look at that. They even have good job, Blue Origin. I love this. A little graphic saying we are awaiting a Wayward boat to clear the range. Like they're on it. That's cool. Just even from like a live stream perspective, to have the ability to do a little thing like that and have it animate in and everything, that's actually pretty impressive. That's good. So, okay, a trip to orbit, was that what we said? Yeah, trip to orbit. I think it'll be quite a while before that really is a reality. If let's say an average person really wanted to fly like a hyper luxurious, flight in a private, even a private jet, or, one of those like Qatar Airlines where you're in a suite or whatever, like you're still talking about like $20,000-$30,000. And is the average person even remotely able to afford that? Of course not. If it was their life goal and said like, this is the one thing I want to do in my life, is I want to fly in one of these cabins of this, luxurious airplane or whatever. Yeah, you could conceivably do that. So I don't know what we are considering like the average person, casually doing it, like a $300 ticket into orbit, or if we're talking about like a life goal, you want to go into orbit, you want to spend 2 days on a trip that's kind of like it'd be equivalent of a cruise or something. I still can't imagine a world where that's not like where that ever gets below like $50,000 in my opinion, just because there's a lot more involved. There's a lot more. Maybe someday. Obviously, if you take this out like way down the road, like 100, 200 years, sure. Who knows what we'll have in the future then? But in the next couple decades, I just can't really see what driving factor could get it down to that kind of price. But I would love to be wrong on that one, please. Thank you so much, Common Sense, for being a member for a month. Greatly appreciated. Elliot Waller, Elliot Wheelier. I nailed that one. Thanks for covering the New Glenn launch. Keep up the great work. What is your prediction of a successful first stage landing? Excited to see New Glenn's flight and SpaceX's Flight 7 tomorrow. Thank you, Elliot from Maine. I'm honestly like, I think 50-50 is being pretty optimistic for a first booster landing ever of an orbital class rocket for this company. So I'm saying that'd be amazing. A 50-50 is being generous. I think you would really think of it more like a 20%, 10% chance of landing because it's their first attempt ever. But I kind of have this weird feeling that like, I kind of can just see them sticking the landing. And that image in my head is pretty strong. And I'm just sitting there going, man, if they do that, like I'm giving them 50-50. I don't know which way I'd bet on that. If I was a betting man and I had money on it, I don't know which way I'd bet on that one. Yeah. It's exciting. It's actually really exciting. And the fact that we get to see a new way to land a vehicle that's going to look completely different, because I think it's going to do a little bit more hovering and precise maneuvering, and it's just going to look different. It's going to look really cool. It's going to be the first orbital booster to land on landing legs. That'll be fun. Orbital booster, I said, notice, not because SN15 with those little stubby legs, I don't think that counts. It wasn't orbital. Todd Johnson. Couldn't pick 55 for 55 months, but this does come close. Keep the everyday people up to date for as long as you can. Thank you so much, Todd. Seriously, that is very generous. Very, very generous. And speaking of generous, Todd and Jacob, we owe a thank you to both of these people. Thank you so much, saying, will you be doing any Neutron content this year? Thank you so much, Jacob, as well. That is insanely generous. Wow. You guys, thank you very, very much. I would love to. If there's a substantial update of Neutron, it's kind of one of those things I don't want to be doing like a frivolous update of like, hey, guess what? We got the fairings done. It's like, that's great. I love that. That's awesome. But let me see more. Let me see something very tangible. I've waited again, like to do a follow-up with Stoke until they kind of had some, you know, a kind of a big milestone. They're firing their full flow stage combustion cycle engine, and doing things like that. They're making progress. So I'll go visit them. If Neutron comes together and starts doing some, you know, like a booster, a static fire or something would be amazing. I would love to do an update around then when we see some hardware really, really coming together. That'd be very fun. So yes, I hope to. I love Rocket Lab. Would love to do something like that. Konana, 35 for 35. Thank you so much for your long-term support. You are amazing. Edward Poole becoming a member. Thank you very, very much. Zach, on behalf of Lex, what do you think is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? I can't even pretend to have a Lex voice. What would you say? My voice can't even get that low. I feel like it's, what would you say is the meaning of life? I'd say the meaning of life is, I don't really want to get that deep on this right now. I mean, I would actually like to spend some thought on that because, yeah, I think it has something to do with finding our place in the universe and learning about our existence. And I think that space exploration is the best way we know how to really find our place in this world and the best chance of us, yeah. And 42. Yeah, you're right. The meaning of life is 42. Yes, it is. Don't forget your towel. Ambashek, thank you so much for your donation. Daniel Station. Hey, Tim, I'm excited to see you and everybody at the Astro Awards in a week. Thanks to Mary Liz. We got VIP tickets after they sold out. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm so excited to meet you in person. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. I need to do a little update because I think we've had a few people that had to, cancel. So there might be a chance that some VIP tickets cleared back up. So check in. Don't feel free to reach out if you have thought about trying to get a VIP ticket and you didn't have that option, or just check back before the weekend starts because there's a chance that there might be, one that frees up. So you never know. You never know. Did SatGus deploy? Okay, so yes, SatGus for sure deployed. I think they're still waiting to know for sure if it's healthy and what the status is on SatGus. I have to say, guys, that was a ton of fun. I don't know if you watched yesterday, but I was with Mark Rober's team and Mark Rober, and he invited 300 people out to come watch his SatGus, they called it, which is a selfie sat where you can upload selfies to space. I think, in my opinion, I know that it... Oh.
For joining us. We are at T-minus 20 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. As noted, we got down very close to our go-no-go pole, but then we noted an errant boat downrange, which we are still working to clear. So we've got a couple more minutes here. But while we've got a couple more minutes, Denise, I'd like to get a little deeper into New Glenn. We've got a lot of new viewers this evening. Do you want to give our audience a sense of what sets this vehicle apart from current and historical?
Their audio seems to have cut for me. Was that a me thing? Is that a them thing? They're in the middle of talking, which seems unusual. Let me see if... Oh, that might be a me thing. Let me find a different source for this real quick, guys. And I'll get this taken care of right now. So give me 1 second here. Let me just try restarting this this live stream, making sure it's... Oh, yeah, this totally froze up for me. Hang on. Give me a second. Let me troubleshoot the issue, and we will get right back into it here in 1 second.
Our bearings are just that big.
And again, as fun as that would be, we don't really need to ship New Shepard off to another planet anytime soon. But that said, it does speak to future capabilities such as, say, moon landers, right? We're working on our Blue Moon lunar lander that we are working with our friends at NASA on, or other large vehicles that are similar in size to New Shepard. What's so brilliant about that 7-meter fairing is not, when you pair the 7-meter fairing and all the volume that's in there, plus the power of New Glenn, we can take a lot of things to a lot of different destinations, orbits, planets, the moon with this rocket. And the versatility of this rocket is what makes it so important to not only Blue Origin with our own vehicles, but all of our other customers, right? This vehicle is so large, and it's not often that people get to stand up close to a rocket. And we showed this the other night during the first broadcast, but you and I got a chance a couple of days ago to walk next to this rocket, and man, oh man, there's some footage there. God, it's huge.
It's one of the things that I think I will remember the most from this whole experience. We spent years just engineering the requirements and building it and testing it, and then the first time that you stand in front of this vehicle fully stacked is just breathtaking. It was just so cool to get to be so close to that rocket, and it's just so much bigger than words and figures can describe.
So you saw there a second ago we were just walking out of the flame trench.
So we've seen a good amount of this, and I realize I have a huge queue here that I am way behind on. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to get to that. We can always rewatch some of this, and I'll let you know if anything really important comes up. But we did see most of that stuff the other night. So Mark became a member. Thomas became a member. Audrey, I feel like we went through these. Andrea, Dorn Kelly, thank you guys so much for your membership. I'm just going to fly through these 30-minute timer. This is from 77 Patriot again. Lex, just a super nice, humble guy. Hi, Lex. If Tim's got your ticket, I'll take yours, and the beers are on me. Let me know. Oh, that's awesome. Sean Victor, kudos to the Van Horn team. Light these engines. Absolutely. I am so excited. The BE4 is an impressive engine. 20 from Abhishek, thank you so much. And Jay reminded me that the answer to what is the meaning of life is 42. Tim, love what you do. Tell us nerdy stuff about your new trailer. Oh, I will tell you, I don't want to talk too long about that because I've got a queue that I realize is way behind. And the trailer is incredible. To be honest, most of the trailer, the upgrade to the infrastructure, like the back end's the heart of Luna. It's the same stuff that powered, we still have the Constellation 8K as our main switcher, but we have a backup switcher now, backup routers, backup switches, backup, way more redundancy. We just have more space for those kind of things. Things are properly rack mounted now. We ran out of rack space in old Luna. We have room for 6 humans inside it. We went from 2 main monitors and then 2 computer monitors. So now we have 6 main monitors, 2 more program monitors in the front and the back, 2 tracking monitors in the front, and another computer monitor in the back for audio station. Yeah, we have 6 workstations. It's not necessarily that the end user will necessarily see anything. We have new capabilities with graphics and like we have now a bunch of Mac Minis that run other things that we can kind of, we can just do more stuff. At the end of the day, to be honest, you probably won't notice a huge difference. But as an operational standpoint, we're just going to be getting a lot more reliable and have better shows in the future. Okay, we're down to T-minus 15. I'm going to keep going here. Well, like I said, I'll produce a video about it. We'll get as nerdy and deep as you want about the trailer, about our trackers, about how we transmit data over like 8 kilometers in very harsh conditions, and kind of get to know the team a little bit better. From Ryan Smith, do you experience any shadow banning from your YouTube due to having Elon on the channel? Maybe this would explain your absence. To be honest, it might explain some stuff because, yes, the channel has had many interviews with Elon. They perform pretty well, though, so that would be unusual. But it has been there's been a stark, I have not had a produced video exceed 1 million views in 2 years now. And that used to be kind of my benchmark when I produced a video. And I don't think the content's changed that much. So I am a little concerned. I don't know if it's YouTube's changing, if something happened with my channel, people just aren't. I mean, the one thing that kind of changed, by the way, again, back to the flames, that's normal. Flare stacks, normal. You get flames, and you can see the condensation because the rocket is super cold and icy due to the liquid propellant. But yeah, I don't know why, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going, and yeah, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to make some amazing content, and I just hope that maybe YouTube and people find it, and maybe I can get back on track. That'd be very fun. Mike Walker says, thanks for the knowledge and inspiration over the years and inspiring me to finally start my channel. Cool. Do you think the fact that Blue Origin is self-funded helps mitigate overall risk? I think the risk is still the same, but having a little bit of a safety net of saying, like, you know, we don't have a pile of investors that would lose their shirts if this doesn't go well on the first try is something to say that they have. Because here's the thing, Blue Origin isn't just building like a one-off rocket here. They have the factory, full-blown real factory right there ready to build another one, based on the learnings of this launch. And that's something that is different, and that is because the fact that they are mostly funded by Dimitri, Tim, please keep your streams politically neutral. Lex is not. I'll make no comment on that. That's how neutral I am. I honestly just hate. I talk rockets. I don't understand why people want to hear my opinion on things that I'm not. That doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to judge someone else based on if they like someone else or if they like this or that. I'll judge them based on how they treat me and how they treat others, period. And if they like rockets, and if they like rockets, they're pretty much okay by me. But yeah, we're here to talk rockets. We're here to talk, I've said this a few times that I'm enjoying I'm almost 40. I turn 40 next month, by the way. In my coming of age now, I'm enjoying the finer things in life. And what I mean is I enjoy kind of the gray area, the finding the nuances between like black and white and right and wrong and good and evil. It's just life isn't that way. And I'm experiencing that it's okay to have multiple emotions and hold multiple emotions for certain things in your heart and your head, and hold multiple opinions on things. Like, it's okay to say this is awesome, but it also, in some ways, that kind of sucks. Like, that's okay. You can feel multiple things about things, and that's fine. And like, I think I just used to be so much like, yeah, I really like that. Therefore, I have to like that. I have to hate everything that isn't that. And I have to think this thing's perfect because I like it. And it's kind of my identity. And I'm just not that way anymore. And it's felt, honestly, it's been very healthy just to be like, yeah, I really like that. It's okay. It's really good at this. And it's really cool, but it's cool. But I also like this, and I also like that. And I don't love what that guy says, but I do like what they do here, and I do like this, but I don't like that, and that's okay. And that's just the way that I operate. It felt good. So that's my mantra. Feel free to adopt it. It's called the Tim Dodd. Find the happy middle ground and enjoy the nuances of life. There it is. Enjoy the nuances of life. God's Eye, making Astro Awards in person was one of the best things you did. Spaceflight finally getting the recognition it deserves. I hope this goes mainstream in coming years. I don't know if it'll ever go mainstream because I just don't know if there's enough people. But for me, the feedback from the people that attended last year, from the people that won awards last year, every single person said, I needed this. I needed to sit back and realize the impact that myself, my colleagues, our project has on the world and has on other people, and to get excited about what other people were working on. I heard that over and over. Literally, I think every person that was at one point holding an Astro Award said something almost along those exact lines of, I needed this. It was a very good reminder of how important my work is. And that's what it's about right there. Here, let's see how we go.
It's 9 minutes and 40 seconds
under 10
to
minutes.
go until launch. We are awaiting here the go, no go poll for New Glenn's first launch to space. Now at this point, we're going to throw it over to launch control. They're going to go around the room and see if we are ready to go to space. Keep in mind that upstairs we have our launch control and our mission control room. In the mission control room, we have the team that is managing our Blue Ring Pathfinder payload this evening. As we mentioned on the last webcast, I'm particularly proud of our Blue Ring team. It's the team that I help lead here at Blue Origin. They have been working very hard on this payload, and they are ready that as soon as the second stage separates from the first stage, the fairings will deploy, and it is heading out to MEO, to Middle Earth Orbit, where it is going to remain up there orbiting the Earth for about 6 to 8 hours or so, collecting various data, checking all of the various systems, primarily telecom systems. There, you see Pull coming in here, stand by.
Go pending L-10 actions in work.
Roger, report when those are complete. Recovery.
Go.
PLI.
Go.
LSO.
Go.
OSM.
Go.
RC.
Go.
ESR.
Go.
AC.
Go.
And BMD.
Go.
LD is go as well. All stations LD on count 1 with the terminal count. Briefing all personnel remain in current positions until launch. Maintain operational silence in the control room. All controllers move to count 1 for launch. If a constraint is observed between now and launch, commit. Announce hold on count 1. Briefly state reason.
They came out of that hold already.
OSM LD set hold fire switch to launch position.
Launch.
And LD is in launch. Guido, verify, abort, request, flag, false.
Abort request is false.
Roger.
Whoa. We're still counting down, guys. Holy crap, please. Yes. I like how much chatter we heard there. That's very, very fun for me. That's a good sign, my friends.
Launch. This is our first flight, and obviously we've prepared rigorously for it. But no amount of ground testing or mission simulation is a replacement for flying this rocket. Our key objective today is to reach orbit safely. Anything beyond that is a bonus. And believe me, we are nothing if not persistent. Now we're getting very, very close here. T-minus 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. Our terminal count is beginning in just a few minutes. You just heard it right there. We are go for launch this evening. But one important aspect of our rocket that we haven't really touched on today, our New Glenn rocket is called New Glenn. It is named after an American hero, John Glenn, the first American to orbit Earth, circling it 3 times in 1962.
He also served as a U.S. Senator for more than 2 decades in the state of Ohio. And then amazingly, Senator Glenn flew to space again in 1998 at the age of 77 on board the Space Shuttle Discovery STS-95 mission.
Now, this gentleman led an incredible life. He died in 2016 at the age of 95. But shortly before he died, our founder, Jeff Bezos, was able to connect with the senator and tell him that we hope that he'd be willing to lend his name to Blue's first orbital rocket. And we have here a copy of the letter that he sent back. You can see it is really meaningful to us. Just a moment, let me read you a couple of words. When I first orbited the Earth in 1962, you were still 2 years from being born. And when I returned to space in 1998, Blue Origin was still 2 years in the future. But you were already driven by a vision of space travel accessible not only to highly trained pilots, engineers, and scientists, but to all of us. I'm deeply touched that you've named the second generation of those rockets New Glenn. As the original Glenn, I can tell you, I see the day coming when people will board spacecraft the same way millions of us now board jetliners. When that happens, it will be largely because of your epic achievements this year.
I get goosebumps every time. You know, he's the first American to orbit Earth, and I've seen that letter hanging in our headquarters building in Kent.
Yeah, it's one of our treasured artifacts. Everybody, we're at T-minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. We are very close. We are coming up here on terminal count. Do not go anywhere.
This is it, guys. This is by far the furthest they've made it into count. Again, they've only had one other launch attempt really so far, 2 nights ago. So this is looking good if they're this far down and everything, all systems are go. Now, the riskiest part is when they start to go into startup. So there could be a chance that once they go to light all 7 of the BE4 engines on the first stage,
T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
That could be
Terminal
where
count
they.
active.
That could be where they might say, something's not looking right.
Timer started.
And it could auto abort.
ES safety pins disengaged. T-minus 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Upending system armed. Magic charge initiated.
Our team is now securing all the commodities to our first stage and our second stage. They're also going to be draining and purging all the umbilicals that are supplied to New Glenn.
T-minus 3 minutes.
Here we go, guys. T-minus 3 minutes. I have a million questions to answer from you guys that I will try to find time to answer, and I'll stick around. If this thing launches and lands, I think we have to stick around for a little bit, and I'll answer your questions, and we will celebrate. Even if it doesn't land, if it launches, period, I think I'll stick around for a little bit, and I'll try to get to as many of your questions as I can. But thank you so much for tuning in with me, guys.
Charging complete. T-minus 2:30.
I'm going to start shutting up here just to listen in. The words we don't want to hear is hold, 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 because that would be they're going to be having to put it into a hold.
We are now pressurizing the tanks to their flight pressures. Of course, this is crucial for the performance of our engines. Getting ready for launch.
T-minus 2 minutes.
I haven't actually been this genuinely excited.
We're now going to be switching off the ground power supply and transitioning New Glenn to its internal vehicle batteries. When this happens, the vehicle is now powering itself. Let's do this, New Glenn.
T-minus 1:30. Power internal.
There it is. New Glenn is alive.
Oh, man. Let's go, guys. I love hearing the cheers.
T-minus 60 seconds.
Oh, please.
Range green. AFSS flight enabled.
Automatic flight termination is enabled. Big old vent down there. You can hear it whirring to life. These are awesome views.
APU's running.
APU is starting up.
GS1 at flight level.
So those are the auxiliary power units that power it through flight.
GS2 at flight level.
Oh, water deluge starting up.
That's a big water command. There's a water deluge. Here we go, New Glenn.
It's time to do this. Let's light this candle.
Autopilot enabled. T-minus 10.
Oh my gosh.
9,
Let's
8,
go.
7, 6, 5, 4.
Oh yeah! Yes! Let's go!
All 7 engines at full thrust.
Yes!
Pressures are good. Vehicles clear the tower. Now passing 18 seconds into flight.
Let's go, New Glenn!
Pressures look good. 27 seconds in. Vehicles now begun the pitch roll maneuver to point down range. Body rate responses are nominal. Chamber pressures continue to look good. Now 40 seconds into flight.
Oh my God!
That's a shot right there. Look at those mock diamonds.
Continue to look good. 50 seconds in. Data quality looks good coming down from the vehicle.
Yes!
Chamber pressures continue to look nominal. 1 minute into flight.
What a beast!
All 7 engines continue to look good on the first stage. Data quality is good coming down from the vehicle. Body rate responses are nominal. 1 minute, 15 seconds into flight.
As we build a road to space for the benefit of Earth.
Profile looks good.
This could be the first U.S.-built methane rocket to orbit, actually. I just realized that.
Continue to perform well. Now passing 1 minute, 30 seconds into flight.
Thermal
Passing
camera,
Mach 1, new one is
infrared.
now supersonic.
Through the clouds.
Engines continue to perform well. Now passing through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure.
Yeah, baby.
Body rate responses are nominal throughout the boost phase. Data quality continues to look good. Chamber pressure is looking good. All 7
pass through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. The toughest part of the flight on that vehicle, we have
now passing 2 minutes into flight.
And New Glenn continues
Chamber pressures
its
continue to look
ascent
good
to
on all
space.
7 B4 engines. Acceleration profile is good. Body rates look good. 1 minute to MECO.
This is incredible.
B3U, LH2 chill-in started. B4s continue to perform well throughout the boost phase.
They burned this thing for a long time.
Now
Oh, this is from the
passing 3 seconds into
WB-57.
flight. Trajectory is nominal.
I think this is from the tracking plane. The NASA tracking
2
plane.
minutes, 40 seconds. Approximately 30 seconds.
Maybe, or
remaining
it's
in boost
downrange. I
phase.
can't tell.
And here we are coming up
Chamber
on
pressures on all
MECO.
7
Main engine cut off. Let's stand by for that.
Continue to
We
look
have
good.
not seen views from onboard the rocket yet, I don't think, have we? There we go.
Stage 2, RCS
I'm
priming.
happy.
Now passing 3 minutes. And we have MECO.
Come on, stage SEP.
We have stage set.
The screams. That's getting me, guys. That's getting me.
And we have ignition on both BE3Us. Chamber pressure is good.
Yeah, baby!
Now passing 3 minutes, 40 seconds into flight. Body rates look good. Data quality coming down from both stages. Looks good.
Wow!
GS2 performing a pitch-up maneuver. Body rate response is nominal.
Here comes that
BE3U chamber pressure
jettison of
continues to look
fairing.
good.
I saw these fairings in real
We have
life.
good payload fairing jettison.
Hopefully get video of that too.
Separation
Both BE3Us continue to
confirmed
perform
of the
well.
two
Body rate response is
stages.
good. Tank pressures are within their limits.
Stage 2 is now continuing its launch and flight. It up into
Now
MEO.
passing 4 minutes, 20 seconds.
A landing.
Less than 3 minutes
You
now
see
remaining
the
to
landing
GS1.
target out there in the ocean. We are going to land on the Jacklyn, the landing ship
Continue to look good.
that
Body
is
rate
awaiting
response
this
are nominal.
beautiful
Tank pressures
booster
look
to
good.
make a landing.
GS2 bottles look good.
Wow! Wow! You
Jacklyn looks good
guys,
on both
come
stages.
on! I'm like speechless. This is a
4
beautiful
minutes,
first
50
flight of a
seconds in
very
flight.
complicated rocket. A very powerful, very capable rocket. If they land this and recover this tonight, it'll be the most powerful reusable rocket that's operational. That's actually done something
Passing 5 minutes, 10 seconds in the flight.
of like a deployable mission. I'm like speechless right now. I'm sorry. This is crazy.
Thrust on both BE3Us continues to look good.
I can't wait to see the
5
booster
minutes, 20
landing.
seconds
I
in.
hope we still have those video feeds, because they
Less than
did
2
have
minutes
video
now remain
feeds.
to GS1 engine ignition.
Thank you again, everybody, for
GS1
joining
has
us for
reached
New
out.
Glenn's first launch to space. So far, 5 minutes and 30 seconds into launch. Everything continues to be nominal. A clean separation of stage 1 from stage 2. Stage 1, our booster. We are looking to land it on our landing ship, Jacklyn. There you see its targeted landing spot where the feather is there.
Oh, they kind of put
And
like
stage
shadows
2,
below them. That's
carrying
cool.
the Pathfinder for Blue Ring, will continue its mission up towards MEO orbit, where we will be collecting data for 6 hours. But let's continue to watch here as the two vehicles continue on their way.
Good, both BE3Us.
Wow. Wow, wow,
Confirm
wow.
GS1 engine chill active.
They're going to be lighting up the booster engines again to slow it down a little bit, doing a re-entry burn.
Less
Jeff
than
called
1
it,
minute now remaining to exo-atmospheric engine ignition.
That's what I was going to say. He called it the exo-atmospheric
6
ignition.
minutes, 30 seconds into flight.
On the timeline, it does say
coming
just
up here,
booster
we're going to see
re-entry.
the middle of the 3 7BE4
Body
engines
rates
on the
GS1
booster
and
light
GS2
up.
look good.
I
Chamber
can't
pressures
believe
on
this.
both BE3Us.
This is going to
continue look good
slow
throughout
the
burn.
vehicle down, and then as the vehicle gets closer to the landing ship, the Jacklyn, the 2 outer of the 3 middle engines will shut off, and just 1 in the center will remain to help slow as well as guide the vehicle back to the landing ship.
7 minutes into
As you've
flight.
also seen on the booster vehicle, we have the steering fins at the top of the booster, as well as the strakes, which act essentially as wings. This vehicle is flying back to the Jacklyn, providing lift to come in for a nice, soft, and vertical landing onto the landing ship, the Jacklyn.
Okay, they're doing that entry burn now, the re-entry
Chamber
burn.
pressures on both BE3Us.
All 3 engines relight confirmed.
I hope we get some video, please. That'd be awesome.
Body rates look good on GS2. Continuing through its planned burn. 7 minutes, 45 seconds in.
So I think that's looking down from the booster. I can't wait to see this during the day sometime. This will be a very fun rocket to see during the day. Have telemetry going.
Seeing good MR response on the B3U engines. Seeing good throttle profile. Chamber pressures continue to look good throughout the burn. 8 minutes, 20 seconds into flight. GS2 tank pressures staying within their acceptable limits. Body rate responses look good. Chamber pressures look good throughout the burn. 8 minutes, 40 seconds in.
The left telemetry is dead. The timeline's dead, but that could just be a graphics error, so I'm not hinging too much weight on that. They didn't make any call-outs like they lost the booster or anything yet.
Now passing 9 minutes into flight. Continue to see data from both stages.
Good, good. They do have data from both stages. Now with that big strake, they do glide it a little bit more, the booster, which helps bleed off more and more velocity. So it will stay, it will take longer for it to land than a Falcon 9 does. And hopefully we get those feeds from Jacklyn, from the drone ship. Please.
GS2 data quality continues to look good throughout the burn. Chamber pressures, both engines staying very close to each other. GS2 trajectory is nominal.
Please.
Less than 3 minutes now remaining in the GS2 burn.
So they're almost done with the, first stage burn. Or second stage burn, I mean.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Wow, what a moment so far. We obviously have some frozen data here on our stage 1, on our booster. We're still waiting to understand what the situation is with the booster. Meanwhile, our second stage, GS2, continues
10 minutes, 20 seconds into
its
flight.
ascent, as well as its climb towards MEO, which is where it is headed this evening. We are still waiting.
Continue to see good throttle response
Again,
on both
our
B3U
first
engines.
our primary objective, getting to
rates,
orbit
continue to
safely.
look stable
Let's stand
throughout
by
the
here.
Trying to remember what the timeline said. I think it was under 10 minutes.
Tank
though.
pressure is staying within acceptable limits. Bottle pressures look good.
Data quality continues to look good throughout the GS2 burn.
Should reiterate, of course, for any company still, landing a booster is considered definitely like a secondary goal. For this vehicle to at least get into orbit first would be
11 minutes,
huge.
10 seconds into flight.
So we'll see if...
GS2 is now 1,700 kilometers downrange, traveling at 6.7 kilometers per second.
We will see. So for those, I see a couple people just kind of asking what's going on. So this is the first launch of Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. It's the one of the largest rockets flying right now to date. They were trying to do for their first orbital launch ever something very ambitious, which is landing and trying to recover the booster. And this booster was huge. It's almost the size of a Starship.
Both BE-3Us continue to look good, tracking nicely in chamber pressure.
But so far,
body rate responses are stable.
They might not have data on the
12 minutes, 10 seconds into flight
on the boosters. They might have lost the booster, but that's still kind of a secondary goal. As long as if they can get this thing into orbit, the rest of the upper stage into orbit, that'd be a very good sign for them. And hopefully they'd have enough data to learn on for the second one to be able to land the second one.
We have IAP vanish. GS2 is now orbital.
That's good. Orbital is good. They cleared out the velocity and the altitude of the booster. So I wonder if we get an update on that.
12 minutes, 53 seconds into flight.
Still burning.
And we have engine cut off.
Nice. So wait to hear.
Body rates look good following engine cut off.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. SECO. We cut off the engines on the second stage. What does that mean? That means that we hit our key, critical, #1 objective. We got to orbit safely. Congratulations, Blue Origin. Y'all have gone orbital.
Seriously, that's a big deal. For a vehicle of that class.
What a
that's
day.
A big deal.
We see our team down in Huntsville, our teams in Kent. Losing their minds. Congratulations, everybody. What a day. We are in space. We've got our Blue Ring Pathfinder ready to warm up, ready to start drawing in all of that great information. What a day.
Thank you, we trust.
We're going to go to Cars Park here. We have Eddie Seifert.
14 minutes, 10 seconds into flight.
Hopefully they have some downlink for us once they get over a ground station for the upper stage.
The team is so proud that we got to orbit. What an incredible rumble from the B4 engines. This was such an experience to live together, to be a part of this community.
Amazing. You can feel the energy. What a fantastic day. Thank you, Eddie. To the whole team, again, congratulations on getting to orbit. Now, I know all of you are tuning in. We're still trying to get all of the data here. We seem to have lost telemetry on the first stage, on the booster. We very well may have lost the booster. We are still coming in with all of the information. I want to make sure that we get you the right information. But nonetheless, the main objective that we were going for this evening is that we hit orbit. And now I do have confirmation that we did in fact lose the booster. Shoot. You can see from the map there how close physically the booster got to making its landing. Of course, we'll have all of the information on what exactly happened with the booster in the last moments. As you did hear, we did have the booster relight the 3 middle engines, which is what we were looking for. So things we know were good up until that point. But we just need to go through the data. And of course, after the show, on all of our social media channels, we are going to have more information on those details. But key
Pay your respects, guys. Pay your respects.
Orbit safely. Let's go up to mission control and launch control. Maggie, what's going on upstairs right now? I bet our team is pretty excited.
The fives, Ariane, they were high. The bumps were fisted. It was, oh my gosh, it was electric. I've got these people here. They're still working. They've been.
All right. We have some things to talk about, my friends. I was actually surprised. I don't know about you guys. Liftoff, it has a pretty low thrust to weight ratio. It feels like it was lumbering off the pad, which, you know, it's just an observation. That's not like obviously a high thrust to weight ratio can be beneficial, but I was just surprised how long it took to get off the pad. But then it just kind of kept going and kept going and kept going, which is probably more fun, honestly, to watch in person because you get to feel it and hear it and see it for longer. So that was an observation. I was just sort of surprised that it just seemed like it took a while. And the flame looked huge too. I mean, that is an indication. How long the tail flame is an indication of, essentially, believe it or not, it's almost a direct correlation to your to how efficient the rocket engine is. The faster it's shooting those molecules out, the further, the longer that tail will be, the more thrust there is, the further that shoots. So it's a mixture between how fast they're shooting out and how much there is altogether, how much thrust. That looked like that tail of the rocket was massive. That just was very fun to see. I am shocked. The fact that it made it to orbit on its first attempt is a very big deal, especially a rocket that capable. I really hope they learn a lot right away. I really hope they figure out very quickly what's going on. Everyone's looking at something on their screens there. What are they doing?
Since day one. I see the deputy of our New Glenn program losing it. This is a replay of the executives of our team members.
Oh, during launch.
As New Glenn was taking off. Man, oh man, what a moment. And as Maggie was mentioning, what's so cool about when New Glenn takes off, not only is it bright like a lot of those rockets, but that LNG burns this beautiful, beautiful blue.
Okay, so that was just a replay of liftoff. I was like, oh man, did something else happen that we didn't see? Oh, so that was them looking out the window in mission control. That makes sense. There we go. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what are they looking at? They were looking at the rocket in real life. That totally makes sense. Yeah, that is cool. I really hope they learn right away. It's just like an obvious, oh man. And I would love to see this thing fly again. I hope the next one flies during the day. I would love to see it in person. That was very, very, very cool. All right, let me try and get caught up here. I think I messed up a little bit and I'm missing. Okay, Flight Coach. Hey, Tim, been with you since you had 3,000 subs. Holy crap. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Do you hold any space company stocks? I'm looking to invest. So I've bought and sold some of the space companies. And frankly, at the end of the day, I don't like the stock market. It doesn't always react the way I expect it to react. And I'd rather just reinvest in the equipment here and reinvest in basically an everyday astronaut and cosmetics. That's a better investment to me. So I don't right now. Marine Captain wants to know what I think of the new head of NASA, Jared Isaacman. I don't think we could have a better person that would be in charge of NASA. Jared is an amazing person. I'm very biased. I have ridden in the back seat of while he's flying a MiG fighter jet. I have a certain amount of bias for the man, but every minute I've spent around him has been amazing. He's humble, he's kind, he's intelligent, he knows his stuff, he's diligent, he pushes boundaries, he's been very invested in space and space flight and very involved in the missions that he's been involved with. Huge amount of respect for the man. I think he'd do a phenomenal job at NASA, and let's hope that does happen. Billy Bryant, thanks for all the hard work. What are you most looking forward to in spaceflight over the next year? Oh, man. This was one of them. This is a very big one. Other than that, I would say at this point, I still want to see my own catch. I have not seen in person a booster catch, so I hope I do that. And then a catch of Starship would be the next one. That will be crazy to see that, the upper stage. So those are the things that I'm probably most looking forward to. If we see Neutron fly this year, it'd be amazing. That would be really, really fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. It's pretty late, and I'm having a hard time just thinking off the top of my head. The Epic Dragon Cat been waiting all week for this in Starship. Here's to hoping they land on the first try. Someone convinced the only thing that made landing rockets hard was Falcon 9's inability to hover. I used to have a thrust to weight ratio of 1 or lower was a very bad thing, but they've proven that really is a very easily solvable problem for a computer. And obviously this one didn't happen to work out this time, but we'll see. We'll see if they get rid of the hover. Maybe they'll find it to be relatively easy too in the future. Thank you, Heisenberg. Just another YouTube user. Very exciting times at Rocket Ranch. SLS SRB Forward Assembly arrived. Oh, at the Rocket Ranch. SLS SRB Forward Assembly arrived yesterday. That's awesome. Congratulations, and thank you so much for saying hi. Not my name. The U.S. won this space race by Apollo 11, but at what point do you think NASA caught up with the Soviet Union? Rendezvous of Gemini. I would say Rendezvous was that was kind of when NASA caught up. I would say that's exactly right. And then the fact that, the Soviet Union never really ended up flying a large crewed vehicle with crew inside was probably, even the Apollo spacecraft was bigger than anything the Soviets flew from the ground with humans in it, if that makes sense. Buran was very similar in scale to Space Shuttle, never flew with humans, should have, didn't. So I'd say, yeah, Gemini would probably be when I would say when they started actually doing proper maneuvering and docking is when the U.S. kind of caught up. And then after that, once the Apollo program was launching and operating, I'd say that's when they got ahead. John Lopez, meow, thank you so much. I hope that's not a reference to my fumble earlier. Pedro wants to know, can the fins and strakes be used to provide some extra lift for a better glide ratio? And could this be used on Super Heavy for less fuel on boost back? Yes. Period. Yes. And I actually wonder why there aren't larger aero features on both vehicles. I think they could get even bigger. And actually, when I was in my interview with Jeff Bezos about this, he did say that he goes, the simulation just wants to keep making them bigger. If we let the simulation just run away, it'll make them huge. And I almost wish that I had gone, well, why don't you? Why are you limiting the size of them? If they can help, scrub off more velocity, because not only can you extend the glide ratio, meaning you don't have to boost back as far because it can glide further, it also means they can scrub off more velocity because they're spending more time in the atmosphere. So yes, that is the answer. Big yucky if the rocket hits a W trajectory, but the booster gets hit with the ick and the booster yeets. I feel like this is Joe Barnard. The booster yeets itself. Is that peak sigma or straight mid? If that's not Joe Barnard's troll account, I don't know whose it is. Thank you so much, Big Yucky. Andrew, thank you so much for another Area 51 cryptic message of all time. T. Ferguson, thank you very much for your donation. Spacicious, if she supports your work and her graphic design talents, she's refined over her careers and she enjoys doing so. Don't wait, marry her. Hey, that's thank you for the advice. Thank you very much. Unordinary programmer. Hi, Tim. I might be a bit late to the party, but if New Glenn flies, do you think that it can stick landing on the first try? Unfortunately, now, no, it could not stick the landing on the first try. Jax Industries. Tim, been following you for many years, currently at university for Masters in Aerospace Engineering. Masters, dang. Watching your video keeps me motivated in school. Thank you for your enthusiasm and keep it up. Well, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. And good luck with your master's degree. That's phenomenal. Edward Poole, curious about sources of their New Glenn booster landing. Curious about success of their New Glenn booster landing. Thanks for we, as you now know, not this time, but hopefully next time. Phaleon says, I bet it's Elon's boat so he can have the first big launch in 2025. That's not the case, but that's and ULA Sniper Bowl. I'm way behind, aren't I? I know nobody wants a launch to fail, but if you had to make a dark wish for a perfect, complete catastrophe failure, what would it look like? I don't know how to even answer that one. It would be, I can't even fathom how. It'd be like someone was about to rob an entire school of orphans and retirees, and was holding them at gunpoint. And there happened to be a rocket explosion just slightly off the pad, maybe 30 seconds off the pad. And one piece of debris happened to just perfectly accelerate and knock the gun out of their hand, and everyone got free. That would be the perfect scenario. Yep. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Chris Moranek, I fell asleep on my couch and missed the SLS launch. Well, hopefully you did not miss this one.
You can continue to follow the mission and all of our progress on X and all of our social media channels. We're going to track the payload up to its final destination. We'll have more information on what happened to our booster, so stay tuned to that. Another big thank you to the Defense Innovation Unit and the many, many people at Blue Origin who spent years designing this rocket, building it, testing it, getting ready for today, and lastly, believing in this vehicle and in this program. I want to also say thank you to the FAA and to the range for supporting us. Today on our first flight, we gave them a little bit of extra work this evening. And to the state of Florida, from the governor on down, thank you so much. We love being down here in Florida. Everybody, this is going to conclude our first mission of New Glenn, NG-1. The next era of space flight at Blue Origin is upon us. My name is Ariane Cornell. For Denise, Eddie, Maggie, and all of us here at Blue Origin, thank you for joining us. A very happy New Year to all, and we look forward to seeing you soon on our next launch. We're just getting started, and until next time, gradatum ferociter.
We have the replay already. So let's watch this real quick, because I was surprised at how obviously it doesn't have a solid rocket booster, so it's not a high thrust to weight ratio, but look at that. It just feels like it's just whoa. And look how long that flame tail is. I almost thought for a second it was underperforming, because it just looked like it was just, it is also so massive that it's easy to lose perspective on just how big that really is and the scale of it all. So maybe it's a mixture of that, but it just looked like, I'm like, oh man. But that was crazy. This is the replay. So they are looking out the window there then to see it. That's cool. The mock diamonds on that thing, absolutely gorgeous. Man, that makes me excited. That just makes me excited. And knowing I've touched this rocket, that literal rocket, that is crazy. I do need to remind you, if you haven't seen my interview with Jeff Bezos, the two of them, the before and after, there's two parts, one inside the factory, not before and after, one inside the factory, one at the launch pad. Watch them. They're phenomenal. I really enjoyed those interviews, and I really enjoyed seeing the inside of the factory there. That's a massive rocket, an ambitious rocket, a fun rocket to see fly today, finally. While we're talking about things that are fun, if you want to help support the work we do here, head on over to everydayastronaut.com/shop. Get yourself some Apollo merch. We've got our 1969 collection. We've got our brand new heat shield long sleeve. A lot of people ask for long sleeve dress wear and beanies. By the way, if you guys ever noticed that we actually shoot all of our, I go to the one that doesn't have a model because it was later. Every one of our shoots, we actually literally produce the product first, then take pictures with real humans, no stock photos, no AI. We actually do things right around here. We actually produce the content first, and then shoot it, and then get it on model, and then it goes in the store. So it's a long process, but I think it's worth it just to do things right, do things the correct way. Everydayastronaut.com/shop. Fun way to support the channel and the show. And of course, like I said, check out Astro Awards, astroawards.live. Get your tickets before they sell out, because I have a feeling we're going to be selling out here in the next few days before next weekend. It's next weekend already in 9 days. That makes me panic. January 25th and 26th, Austin, Texas. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. Get your tickets now, astroawards.live. See a bunch of absolutely incredible humans. Check it out, astroawards.live. Come say hi. All right, I'm going to try to rapid fire a few more questions here real quick. And then I'm going to get to bed because I caught a red eye to get here today. And I'm already exhausted. We have a big day tomorrow, hopefully with Flight 7. But we have a lot of generous support. I really need to hit some of these big ones. I'm very sorry that I'm going to have missed a few of these. Craig Johnson, I'm very familiar with homemade documentaries. I've seen a handful of them. Audrey Towless wants to know where it is. The LC-36 is actually pretty far south on the Cape. And it's the most visible launch site anywhere from Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach, which makes it probably really exciting for everyone that was there tonight, because that had to have been an amazing launch to see. I can't wait to hear John Pisani hopefully was shooting it from Cosmic Perspective and our team, an amazing launch photographer. I bet everyone out there hopefully got a heck of a show. There's a lot. Like, will there be orbital tourist spots like moon hotels or hotel space stations? Of course. I think all these answers, things like this, if you think about the eventuality, assuming humans don't blow ourselves up or get taken over by AI or Terminators or whatever, then yes, of course there will be this stuff. It's just a matter of when. And I think realistically, 10, 15 years, we'll start to have a decent amount of stuff like that. Like I said, I'm just going to rapid fire through here. Let's see. This is Space Geek. If when the Astro Award sells out the theater, can you please have the option to buy a Zoom ticket to watch all the panels on Zoom? Like I said, if we could park the trailer where we need to park it in order to even do a live stream, it's we have to do fiber drops through the building, and live streaming it right is very hard. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not convinced. It was very stressful last year, and I just really said this year I want to focus, since we're expanding our programming. I just made the call months ago that, hey, we're not going to live stream. We're just going to focus on the event, make it right, do it right. So I'm not convinced. And like I said, it's not any kind of, I'm not trying to be, gatekeeping or anything. It's just literally logistics and doing things right. Well, let's nail it this year. And then next year we'll record stuff and we'll post stuff. And that's just much easier than a live stream. Trust me, after how many years, 8 years of live streaming. Yeah. This is from Unsolved Mysteries. Just want to thank you for your dedication to the space community. Feels like just yesterday we were all watching grain silos hovering. Yes, it does honestly feel like that. Thank you so much for your support. And Space Bro becoming a member, and Adam, and not my name. Do you have any plans for your diecast rocket lineup? Your Crew Dragon was a great gift for my brother. Yes, very soon. I think they're literally shipping like right now to our warehouse, or in the next week. We finally will have our next 1/100 scale model rockets, and it's a pair, because I want you to build your rocket collection out quickly. So it's both Mercury Atlas and Mercury Redstone. So the first 2 human launch vehicles from the United States, and really, really, really hope that we get those out here soon and restocked in the Falcon 9s, because it's so fun to see those vehicles side by side, because you will be shocked at how big the Falcon 9 is compared to those. So yes, stay tuned. Sai Venkat says, how do you get into understanding rockets better? Sorry, that was at T-minus 20 minutes. I'm so far behind. For you, play Kerbal Space Program. Just get the first one. It's cheaper and it's more stable. Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal, Kerbal Space Program. I promise if you play that game, learn how to get into orbit, land on the moon, you will understand rockets better and more intuitively than just about anything else on the planet. And that's literally the main reason I have an understanding of rockets, an inherent understanding. Then from there, it's just a light bulb thing that can just make you know what to pursue and how to learn more. ODST Moody, can't wait to get some hour delivery baked beans with this thing. That would be awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to get through these. Mike McKee, the old guy here who saw Apollo missions as a kid and later worked on the shuttle, MMU, Galileo, and at Martin Marietta. Amazing to see now the rise of both the private space industry and citizen journalism. It's a great job. Well, thank you so much, Mike. That is amazing. That is a heck of a career there. Amazing. Thank you so much for saying hi. I saw some really big ones that Eric Arthur, laughing on his boat, but seriously, isn't it easy to sabotage a launch? Yeah, but you'll get fined. They're going to catch you. They have this is the Coast Guard you're dealing with. They can find you. You'll get a huge fine, a very big fine. And the fine is not worth more than or is hopefully worth more than the I don't know. They'll find you and it will be bad. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to just get through to there's, like I said, there's here we go. Like this. Eric Grind, thank you so freaking much. Thank you, Eric Grind. Everyone, please say thank you to Eric on behalf of me and our team here. To Eric, as well as Sweet Fly KU. Love what you do. While our gridfins are in while our girls, I read that as gridfins. While our girls are in volleyball now, they watch us tune in to every new launch. We were on a boat with SpaceX teams to watch the catch in Boca Chica. Stay awesome. That is amazing. Thank you so much to Sweet Fly KU, and also to Eric just earlier. Thank you guys so much. I'm so sorry that I originally missed that. I need to go to bed. I'm running on fumes and adrenaline and emotion at this point, but I need some sleep. Tomorrow's a very big day for us. Thank you guys so much for watching with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Go Blue Origin. Congratulations, New Glenn. I hope that the next one's even better. You have a strong starting point there. A heck of a capable rocket. Something that can put 45 metric tons into orbit is crazy. So huge congratulations. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Join me tomorrow for our Flight 7, our Flight 7 live stream. I really hope I get to catch a catch. I hope I get to see a catch in person. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. That's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Goodbye, everybody. Love you.